Namaste, I'm Shripriya. Welcome back on my seamless journeys where I continue to discover Karnataka, my very own home state. Heading eastward this time from the city of Bangalore, we plan to visit a certain place in the district of Kolar, lying at a driving distance of about 95 kilometers with a drive time of just about 2 hours. So let's get going on this day trip. We're right now in front of the famous Idli corner Veena stores in Ramalingeshwara, packing up our breakfast for our way.
We reached our destination as planned.
Kolar is known as the land of gold. Now who hasn't heard of the Kolar goldfields? But did you know that Kolar is more famous for its milk, silk and mangoes? Now I didn't know that. Kolar is also known for its ancient traditional temples, the Antargange caves, the Markandeya hills and many hiking trails in the area, which makes it a good enough reason to spend a couple of days. If you really wish to do so, there is no dearth for hotels or homestays in the vicinity, so you can check that out. But we're here today only to take a peek at its best kept secret, the Avani hills, better known as the Avani Betta in the local Kannada language. Avani has deep-rooted connections with ancient history and mythology dating back to the period of the Uttar Ramayana. The entire happenings during the Uttar Ramayana period is said to have taken place here.
For the sake of explanation, I have split the layout into two, the Betta or the hillside and the ground area where the temple premises lies. The temple came into existence much later and we will learn the whys and hows shortly. But first, let's take a look at the Betta.
We're here now at the base of the Avani Betta. Let's hear this little story. Maharshi Valmiki had set up his ashram high up in the hills there. When Sita Devi was sent on her second exile after her return from Lanka in order to prove her chastity, she landed up in Avani. She sought shelter from the rishi who gladly agreed to take her in her state of pregnancy. This is the very place where she delivered her twins, Love and Kush. We're about to begin to climb the Betta. The hill lies at a height of about 600 to 650 steps, and all along the way we can listen to the stories of the Ramayana while also savoring fantastic views from the top, which I can't wait to see and share with you. So stay tuned.
Let's take a quick look at the map. We pinned our destination to Avani Betta and followed the Google map to the T. On entering Avani village, we rode straight up the main road, crossed a lake on the right and reached a junction. Taking a right here, we drove to the dead end to reach the Ramalingeshwara temple. The huge and ancient look of the temple swept us off our feet. The start point of the Betta trek lies on the road parallel to that of the temple, where you can find a small tea shop cum condiment store. You can park your vehicles here and begin the trek from a point little ahead of it where the newly built gateway is visible. Stone steps help you ascend up to a certain point and again appear only later higher up. In between is the pathway, sometimes flat and other times slightly rocky and muddy. Overall, I rate this level of climb as easy. Crossing all points of sacred prominence, it gets us to the top where the Sita Parvati temple lies. You do have an option of an alternate path during the descent which merges midway with the main path and gets you back to the start point. I suggest you take a guide along so that you don't miss out on interesting stories. A friendly patrolling officer at the Ramalingeshwara temple offered her services and agreed to play our guide till the top. First up was the Tears Rock. The story came in the form of a huge set of stacked up boulders on top of which Hanuman had placed Sita Devi to enable her to clearly view the war between her husband and sons, Lord Rama and Love Kush. The stains of black and brown on the base rocks here are believed to be the tears she shed while witnessing the incident. Moving past mighty boulders and treading on muddy pathways, we soon reached a flat piece of land. We ogled at the surrounding sites before we reached our second stop, Maharshi Valmiki's ashram. There are many other points of interest surrounding Maharshi Valmiki's ashram here. The Pancha Pandavara Devalaya, the Pandavas resting area, the Sita Kund, the Love Kush temple and Ekanta Ramaswamy Mantapa. Let's take a look at each one of them. The interiors of the ashram is a stone construction giving it the feel of a cave. A stone slab, believed to be the bed where Sita delivered her twins, is found here. At the foot of a slab is a sculpted image of Valmiki himself. The cave also opens up to another chamber through which we had to squeeze in to listen to another story. It was exciting to jump past a few rocks here to get to a point where it dipped further into a sort of cavity. It was explained to us that the red mud found hidden underneath here is believed to cure all stomach ailments when consumed with water. Valmiki had administered the same process to cure Sita's acute stomachache, and therefore this belief continues. The Pancha Pandavara Devalaya is believed to be the temple where the Pandavas offered their prayers during their exile. There are supposedly 5 lingas installed inside this temple, out of which I spotted just 2 due to poor lighting. The sudden switch from the period of Ramayana to that of the Mahabharata made me wonder if the place is actually set up to attract tourists. But whatever it is, the effort to recreate the great epics in this atmosphere is just commendable and worth a visit. The stone-roofed shelter here is believed to be the place where the Pandavas rested during their exile. Today, it is more of an entrance leading to an open space, a water body, and fantastic aerial views, making it a perfect camping spot. We did pitch our tent here for a while during lunch. The water body here is called the Sita Kund, believed to be the place where Sita washed clothes while her twins rested in the shelter. We spotted a lamp sculpted out of its rocky edges that was probably used to light up the area during dark hours. Moving ahead through a path right beside the water area, we got to a small temple built for love and Kush. The twin shivlings installed here helped these brothers to jointly offer their daily prayers. The more exciting fact about this temple is its roof, a whitish colored rock consisting of dents of various shapes and sizes. The guide explained that these were the utensils and storage used by Sita in her daily kitchen. The biggest dent of them all was a stove pot she used that till date makes the noise of a copper vessel when strung on. The story revealed that Hanuman had later inverted the entire kitchen area, making it a roof in order to avoid footfall on the sacred place. On the other side of the Lavkush temple, separated by a huge boulder and a rocky patch, lies the Ekanta Ramaswamy Mantapa. This is believed to have been used by Lord Rama himself to offer his prayers and perform his penance and meditation in solitude. A lot of Tamil inscriptions can be seen on the pillars here. We found that this Mantapa is built in the temple format with a shivling placed in the Garbhagriha and a Nandi installed opposite the shivling in the Antarala. Up next was the story of 2 unusual rock shapes. The first one is believed to be a jewel box with a keyhole in which Sita left all her jewels, while the second one is a hooded serpent standing guard over it. One can even spot the white eye of the serpent hidden behind the rocks on taking a closer look. Walking further up, we were thrilled to spot the temple on the hilltop. The next guided stop was at the Lakshmana Tirtha. The guide narrated that when Lakshmana came to drop Sita in the place to begin her exile, she was grief-stricken by the barren land. She pleaded Lakshmana to help make the place more habitable. Lakshmana instantly pulled out his arrow and shot it on the ground, upon which water emerged. The place is therefore also called as Dhanush Koti and Patala Gange. One can see footprints of various sizes here, believed to be those of Lavkush and Lord Ram. Successfully completing our last leg of the climb, we reached the Sita Parvati temple at the top. The temple was initially dedicated to Mata Parvati, who appeared in the dreams of Adi Shankaracharya, instructing him to have an idol of Devi Sita installed alongside, as the Betta is filled with Sita's memories and she should therefore be worshipped here. Before the descent, the guide led us to a large-sized rock somewhere behind the temple called the Hurulugundu or the Urulubande, a rock under which you can tumble right across. The guide explained how the rock miraculously paved way for Sita, who attempted to kill herself under it due to her unbearable pain during pregnancy. Tumbling under this rock is therefore believed to cure all body aches and pains and wards all evil. Either with belief or with an adventurous spirit, this is a must try. The alternate path during our descent brought us to fantastic viewpoints. We stopped a while for a photo shoot. With a couple of more stories to go, we got to the Agni Tirtha, the place where the earth split and accepted Sita into fire. Agni, the lord of fire, showered water in order to keep Sita safe during her journey to the heavenly abode, and therefore the name Agni Tirtha fell. We were curious about the stones of various sizes stacked up vertically all along. The guide revealed that since Sita delivered her twins here, it is a belief that offering prayers by stacking up stones on this sacred hill grants children to the childless. Our last stop on the hill was at the place where Lavkush had tied up Lord Rama's horse that had found its way here during the Ashwamedha Yagna. The story reveals that the horse had eaten up a part of the rock when there was lack of hay. After reliving many stories from the Uttar Ramayana, we return to the start point. Let us now have a look at the Ramalingeshwara temple. Built in the 10th century, this ancient masterpiece stands at the base of the Avani hills with a pond attached to it. The impact of a 1,000-year-old history instantly latched onto us as we entered the temple.
We're now inside the temple premise, and it's rather a rectangular quadrangle and houses plenty of shrines. Now for the story. Rama waged war against Lav and Kush, not knowing that they were his sons. At the end of the war, when he realized the truth, he was driven by a sense of guilt and wanted to pray to Lord Shiva for mercy and forgiveness. His brothers, Lakshmana, Shatrughna and Bharata, wanted to join him in this effort. As a result, each of them established a Shivling representing Lord Shiva himself and prayed. Years later, the Shivlings still lay on barren land till the beginning of the Nolamba dynasty. Now the Nolamba kings built shrines over each of these lingas and called them the Ramalingeshwara, Lakshmanalingeshwara, Bharatalingeshwara and Shatrughnalingeshwara. Years later, the Chola kings added to the renovation. So the structure what we see today is basically in Dravidian style but has shades of the Chola and the Nolamba architecture. Now let us understand the layout of the temple premise. Right in the middle lies the Ramalingeshwara temple, sandwiched between the Lakshmanalingeshwara and the Shatrughnalingeshwara temple. The Bharatalingeshwara shrine lies behind Lord Rama's shrine.
Inside the Ramalingeshwara temple is the shrine of Mata Parvati, consort of Lord Shiva. A short and interesting description of each of these shrines can be found displayed on a board in both Kannada and English right outside their entrance. An almost 5 feet tall Nandi, vehicle of Lord Shiva, adorns the vestibule facing the linga that is worshipped inside the Bharateshwara shrine. The shrine built over the linga dedicated to Vali and Sugriv, the monkey kings, has the Navagraha installed right behind it, where a standalone idol of Devi Durga is also worshipped. At the northwestern corner is the shrine of Lord Vigneshwara, son of Shiva and Parvati, who is considered the master of all new beginnings. There is also a shrine of Subramanya, the other son of Shiva and Parvati, and a separate shrine for Lingeshwara. Out in the courtyard, we found around 6 huge shivlings installed. There is also an ancient well at one corner that satisfies the need of water used in daily prayers in each of the shrines. The Ganji Mantapa was built as a kitchen to serve porridge and gruel to the labourers and workers during the construction of the temple. Today, it serves as a kitchen to the temple itself. On the other side is the Kalyana Mantapa, built originally to perform the annual wedding rituals of Lord Rama and Sita. Today, weddings of localites are permitted here as well. A short golden Dvajastambha finds a place in the quadrangle facing the entrance of the temple. Awestruck by the architectural wonder, we circle the quadrangle, admiring the beautiful sculptures while trying to make sense of the inscriptions etched on the stones here. We were told it was mostly in Tamil but also had a mix of Hale Kannada and another unknown script. We managed to capture a few shots of the ornate interiors despite the existing prohibition. The overall extravagance completely drew our senses. While my mind felt in dilemma of not being able to explain each of the shrines in detail, I hope to return someday to complete it all.